All right, welcome to the channel, everybody. Aesop Grim here, and this is, well, hopefully the closing up of my first journey through Shadow of the Erdtree. This has been a blind playthrough. I have referenced guides, I think, twice, maybe 3 times, and that includes this fight right here. I referenced a guide for this fight. The last episode I did was streaming. It was done on Monday, and you guys, there were several attempts on the boss there. Not a terrible amount. I just had enough that I realized I wasn't getting better. I wasn't understanding the mechanics and figuring out how to fight them. It was still kind of random, so I knew I needed to reference a guide. When I referenced that guide, it required me to do a complete different overhaul, a complete different build. So let's go over that real quick. I guess let's look at our status first. I've got 60 points in vigor, 20 in mind, 52 in endurance, 48 in strength, 14 in dexterity, 14 in intelligence. I don't normally have intelligence, but you can see my first memory slot there is using a sorcery, and it's important for this strategy. 10 in faith and 76 in arcane. So I started off as a quality build, moved to a strength faith build, and now I am a strength arcane build. So also I'm about level 14 on Erdtree fragments, and his video says he recommends not doing this until you're at least level 15. So I don't know if this is going to work or not, but I guess if it does, you guys will see it, and if it doesn't, you probably won't. But I'll show you my equipment. What else? Let's see. You can see my equipment load is at 75.3, and that's why I can get away with endurance of 52. What I did is I tried to find, let me explain the build, I guess. We need to talk about the build first. The idea is to throw your great shield up and poke them until you proc the blood loss. That's why we're an arcane build right now, to help with that. I'm using Moog's spear here. So that's the general idea. So with that great shield up, you're not going to be taking very much damage, especially when we use that sorcery, the Scholar's Shield. Whenever I switch to my staff here, I can use Scholar's Shield, and it enhances the blocking damage, specifically the magic, I guess, of our great shield here, which is going to protect us against the one thing. Like, the shield already does 100 physical damage, and now it's negating, I don't know what the percentage is, but a high degree of Radahn's magic damage. So you're not going to take a lot of damage. I say all that to say this. Therefore, with the gear, we're looking for poise, high poise. So with that in mind, that's why I took, well, it's not why I took the thumbprint shield, but it's when we look at equipment, I know I'm kind of all over the place here. The reason I took the thumbprint shield is actually the opposite. It's because it does a whole bunch of damage negation. It's the best one of all the ones I looked at, and I looked at several. It does not have the best guard boost of the great shields available to me, but it does have the best overall damage negation, and then when we put the spell on it, it enhances that even further. So then when it came to the armor, I wasn't as concerned about damage negation. I was actually more looking for the highest ratio of poise to weight. So I didn't have to put a ton of points into endurance, and I could get as much poise out of that. And I did not do an exhaustive study, but I did pretty thorough I hope I did my math right here. I basically divided the poise by the weight to try and determine how much poise am I getting per 1 pound of weight. And whichever number came out highest, that's what I took. And it ended up being almost everything Crucible. I was real lucky. There were actually 2 options here. One was the Erdtree and one was this one. And since this had the brown that matches with the Crucible instead of the blue of the Erdtree, blue and silver, this is kind of a brown and rust. I took this one. This had the highest ratio of it obviously doesn't have the highest poise of the chess pieces that are available out there, but it had the best ratio of poise to weight. And then same thing with the Crucible items here. So that all total, with the shield, which is giving us 77 guard boost. Well, I'm sorry, I'm not talking about guard boost, I'm talking about poise. We have 79 poise. Now, that is being amplified by the Bull Goat's Talisman, so a natural 59 poise. Not bad. I think that's better than what I had. I had 55 before. So I was able to lower the amount of points I had in endurance while upping the amount of poise. That's a win-win. Over here at the talismans, the video I watched recommended the Dragon Crest Great Shield Talisman, the Two-Headed Turtle Talisman, the Great Shield Talisman to boost guarding ability, and the Bull Goat's Talisman to raise poise. Now, I am kind of considering playing around with the Pearl Shield Talisman here. Boosts all non-physical damage negation while guarding. If I feel like that ends up being better, like if this isn't really doing anything for me, then this might allow me to redo this build and go away from the magic completely, the spell, the Great Shield spell, and instead focus on faith to get some Crucible Knight incantations in there. Or maybe some blood loss incantations. Also, we could maybe play around with, let's see, it's not here, but I am almost certain there is a spear talisman. I want to see what that says. I passed the talismans already. Here they are. Okay. Increase poise after using a flask. Okay. Let's see. What do you got? Dagger, curved sword, twin blade, axe, hammer, spear. Enhances counterattacks unique to thrusting weapons. So that's a possibility. Probably not a great one. I think I'd rather go with this and then switch to take points out of intelligence and put them into faith to try and get the incantation that I have loaded up. So here's the spells. I can't use any of these because I don't have enough faith. And where is my faith, by the way? Boom. Status. My faith is currently at 10. All right, so I would take 2 points out of intelligence. I would have to add more points in the faith. Okay, well, so $15.27. Oh gosh, not really doable. That's too many points in faith required. So probably looking to just stay with this build right here. Enhance left hand shield damage negation. Now something I forgot to do, I can actually, because I'm not doing any incantations at all, I can just unequip this. And I wonder if that would have allowed me to take a 1 point more out of endurance and put that elsewhere. But for 1 point, I'm not too concerned. The other, I'm going to restate again. He recommended not to do this at anything less than 15 Scatatree, level 15 Scatatree fragments. I'm at level 14, so I'm going to try it anyway. But we'll see how this goes. Oh, I forgot to show you the flask. For the flask, he recommended any hit point one, which for me, I'm saying the Crimson Whirl. It converts damage received into hit points. And then combine that with the Opaline Bubble Tier. He specified that. Significant. It gives you one hit from Radon that you'll be able to shrug off. All right, well, let's go give this a shot. There's the intro. You know the setup. Did I go over everything? I want to make sure I told you guys everything. I showed you the stats. I showed you the equipment. Here's Mogwin's Sacred Spear. It is... My mix of strength and arcane was based on how much damage I was doing with the Mogwin Spear. So it's at 1,446. I found that the more you put into arcane, the more damage it does, but I could not drop below 48 strength because I needed that to equip the shield. So if you've got more points to spend than I do, jump up arcane. And it looks like I've got a blood loss buildup of 92. So that's good. Okay, let's go ahead. Let's see, I told you about the spell. I showed you the stats. I showed you the damage I'm doing. You know that I'm level 14 Scatatree fragments. Let's go ahead and get this party started. So he said you're going to start off by casting this. You'll cast it again at the halfway point. Okay. Oh man, I should have just kept my shield up, huh? Let the stamina build back up. Keep the shield up. Okay, right now I'm wanting to take health. I want a health potion. Okay, there he's at halfway already. That blood loss is really kicking in. That was fast for the halfway. Oh god. What happened? Got blood loss. Wow. Uh-oh, not good. I died? What did he do? I don't really know what he did. I had my shield up. Dude, we almost got him. That was on try number 1. So I don't have to go searching for Erdtree fragments. I think I can probably hit him a lot more. I'm just really not used to this playstyle. I keep wanting to wait for openings. Well, I don't think I need to wait for openings. Okay. Oh, I thought I jumped out of the way. Oh. Okay. I was just spamming, striking behind my shield, and we got the blood loss on him. So now I want to get my great shield thing back up. The guy said that whenever the meteors get close, you can jump and avoid them. But I think I need to not be just strafing left. I need to unlock from them, and I have to be running left. But I think I might try my own. I was just dodge rolling through them before, and I felt like I was able to do that more often than not. So I'm going to try that again. That's my style. Let stamina come back, shield back up, poke, poke, poke. Stamina, here he comes, shield up, poke, poke, poke. Stamina. Oh, probably ought to go ahead and take a health potion. I don't know if I got it in. Great shield's up. Oh, no, now it's down. Okay, so kind of bad news bears here. I need to get that that incantation back up, that sorcery. He's not going to leave me alone. There we go. Oh, bummer, I was almost there. Okay, so that's why you do it at the halfway point, like right after that cutscene. Even if your shield's still glowing blue, probably just throw it back up. It's a perfect timing for it. Okay, this is bad. Yeah, shiznit. The biggest problem with this is stamina management. It really is. You kind of got to resist the urge to stay in the box. I think you can't stay in the box for very long. He chunks you down too much. Maybe I want health renewal. Okay, now I want to start getting out. Now I want to get out if I can. Renew. There we go. Come back in. Blood loss. Chunked him down. I need to get out. Build back up. Pop a potion. Oh, that hurt. It didn't hurt terribly. He got my mimic tier. Pop a potion. Now, if he does that to us twice, it doesn't matter how much health you got, you die. I stayed in the box when I needed to get out. Okay, this is a problem. I don't know where he's coming in from. Wow, I don't even know how I'm supposed to... What am I supposed to do with that? That was horrible. I had my shield up. I guess I have to run from it, and maybe he'll land somewhere else, not me. Guy didn't cover that in his video. But this is, I gotta tell you, man, this is way, way easier than what it's been so far. Rebuild stamina. Rebuild. See if I can roll. I don't know, it did okay. Okay. I must have chunked him down. Reapply.
I promise you,
okay.
1,000-year voyage guided by compassion.
No, I do not believe you. Health. Let's get back into the fight. Oh, bad. Uh-oh. See how much damage I blocked there? But gosh, man, he's sending me through the paces with the stamina. about to get really walloped. Okay, here's his star thing, comet. Somehow I avoided it that time. Oh no, is that the second time?
Let us go together.
Yeah, he won my heart. Heart stolen. That's Miquella's ability. So that was the second. We were going to get him on that one, I think. That one was going really well. Let us go together. Ah, I earned that. Okay. All right, so it's this. I almost died there. Really, really, really close. Uh-oh. I stayed in the box way too long. Wow, we got lucky. I didn't realize how bad my stamina was getting hit. Uh-oh, that's one.
I promise you, 1,000-year voyage guided by compassion.
Need to get out. That's a lot of hit. Oh, there's just, man, I don't know. He doesn't stop. Doesn't stop. That's like 2 combos in a row, is what it felt like. I guess I got to dodge roll through some of that. Thought I rolled. Let's try and get back. Gotta throw offense up. This is one of those things where it looks like the synergy here is to have the idea of the best defense is a great offense. You got to keep them under pressure. You can't just let them sit there and beat on you and throw nothing back at them. I think so. That's my impression here. I need health. Okay. Okay, gotta get out of here. Oh, man. Oh, that was interesting. Gotta get out. Uh-oh.
I promise you, 1,000-year voyage guided by compassion.
Oh, yes. I risked it and stayed in the box and just went for broke. Remembrance of a God and a Lord. All right. Degenerate scumbags taken care of. Peace can return to the land. I don't know what's... There's probably 100 different explanations for this story. Just the way I heard it, though, it sounds like they were two brothers, and it sounds like they want, like a consort is normally incestuous. Well, with a brother or sister, it would be incestuous. So I don't know. There may be another definition of consort that's at play here. I was talking about that a little bit in the last episode, but ugh. Looking at what George R.R. Martin is famous for, I kind of think he just rolled it that way, and it's gross. All right, we got 500,000 runes. I don't see anything here that I can pick up, except there's just a lot of dead people on the ground. Wonder where all that came from. I don't think that was here before. Here's the grace site.
Lord, brother. I'm going to be a god. If we honor our part of the vow, promise me you'll be my consort.
So again, consort I think can mean counselor, but ordinarily it means a sexual partner.
Make the world a gentler place.
Circlet of light. All right, well, down goes the mentally ill psycho that wants to force everybody to be like them or come under their rule. Equipment, item crafting, inventory. Switch display. The circlet of light, which adorned Miquella's head as he returned in divine aspect, it has begun to fade into nothingness. Slightly boosts intelligence, faith, and arcane, while also boosting the power of Miquella's light. The circle was to be the very foundation upon which Miquella's age of compassion would be built. Yeah, see, and again, just like last episode, I'm telling you, like, these euphemisms, man, go back and look at some of the euphemisms that the Nazis used. These euphemisms, you need to think of this in terms of these are like the opposite of what they say. Age of compassion would be built should it have ever come to pass. Remembrance of Radon, consort of Miquella, hewn into the Erdtree. The power of its namesake can be unlocked by the finger reader. Alternatively, it can be used to gain a great bounty of runes. In their childhood, Miquella saw in Radon a lord, his strength and his kindness that stood in stark contrast with their afflicted selves. Let me see that again. In their childhood, Miquella saw in Radon a lord, his strength and his kindness that stood and okay, so that's like nobility, right? That stood in stark contrast with their afflicted selves. Okay, so this is that stupid current language that people are using now. That's what threw me off. Whenever I read that at first, there would be plural. They're not using it that way here, I don't think. Miquella is like a gender bender. As far as I can tell, he's like neutral. He has both male and female aspects to him, or to them is what you would say, right? It's a they them. Now, is it a they them in the sense of our current modern real world where you have people who identify as what is it called, non-binary? I don't know. I think it very well could be, but you could write a fictional story here where you have something like it's a god class character that includes both the female and the male aspects in it, and not have it mean anything to do with their sex or sexuality, right? So I don't really know what to make of that. And they're not being upfront about it. It's just kind of left, I think, to the gamer to kind of think about it for themselves and take it how they want to take it. Given current climate, real world, all the behind the scenes shenanigans, pressure, and even money and the bribery and the coercion, I think that you make things a lot easier for yourself if you consider things that we tend to call woke, right? So now I've heard people say, what is woke? Bro, if you don't know by now, you ain't never gonna know. Like, it's pretty clear cut as to what things fall. It's kind of like saying liberal or conservative. Like, you have a general idea. If somebody wants to nail you to the ground and have you specify that in exact finite qualities, there's a spectrum there, you know? But you have a pretty good general idea of who out there is conservative and who's liberal, right? So I don't get into those arguments with people. If you don't know what woke is, I ain't trying to hold your hand or help you out. Good luck in your life. I don't care. I know what it is, and everybody that I know knows what it is, right? And so it's these concepts that are being thrown into movies and video games, and companies are either threatened or incentivized monetarily and otherwise to do it. So it's hard for me to believe that that didn't take place here in some way, shape, or form. So that's what I think. So then moving on, it says, and so Miquella made his heartfelt wish that Radon would one day be his king consort. And that's where you got the George R.R. Martin, famous for the Song of Ice and Fire, where there was a lot of incest going on. I wouldn't say, I read the books, and I don't actually remember there being a lot of homosexuality. But when HBO got a hold of it and did the movie series, there was. They incorporated that. So again, see, you're dealing with a whole spectrum of what people like or how they orient or identify or how they describe themselves and stuff. But I think that that's what you got going on here, and that's why I found it to be kind of disgusting. But there it is. It sure looks to me like an incestuous gay relationship. That's okay. Okay. And then on top of that, Miquella looking kind of childlike makes it even more. I don't know, man. This is some creepy crawly stuff, dude. So we know that he's not. I think we know that. He's a god. He's existed for a long time. He's just in this form. It's kind of like way back a long time ago, I went and watched one of the vampire. I don't remember what they're called. It was a vampire movie. It was written by Anne Rice, I want to say, and they made it into a movie. Had Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt in it, and they made, I think, 3 of them. And in one of them, there's this little girl. She was turned into a vampire when she was a little girl. So that's what she was all pissed off about, is because this chick was like 250 years old, but she was stuck in a 6-year-old girl's body. And she was angry about that. Everybody always looked at her as a child. She never knew what love was. Nobody looks at her with any kind of romantic appreciation there. Everybody just looks at her as a kid, right? And she had to live that way for hundreds of years. So she was big mad. I think that's a little bit more of what's happening here. But I'm telling you, like, all of this stuff is just, I think it's kind of gross. So there it is. We've finally beaten this game. Lots and lots of other builds to play, sure, but I'm going to be taking a break. This has been a long haul from the base game to this, and it was a good time getting through it all, but I am happy to be done with it. So I think that sounds wrong. That sounds like I got tired of the game. I didn't. It was fun. But I'm happy I can take a break, and I'm not looking to start up a new character right away, is what I'm getting at. We have 500,000. Let's just go ahead and level up. I'll show you here. Strength. Look at that right armament 1. It's at 761. If we up strength, it goes to 762. If we up arcane, it goes to 763. So that's what I meant. Like, you probably want to get your arcane to 80 first, and then go from there. And before we end this episode, let's go turn in these remembrances and see what kinds of weapons we can pick from. Receive power. Yes. Okay, so I've got a bunch here that I haven't done anything with. Raise potency of storms. Grants affinities and skills to an armament. Beast Frost Stomp. I think I'll grab this one. Alright. Twin Moon Knight. You got Rihanna's Twin Blades. That is a quadruple requirement. Strength, Dex, Int, and Faith. Or Rihanna's Twin Moons. Incarnate Twin Moons repeatedly strike the ground. It's a sorcery. I'm thinking that might pair well with some of the moon sorceries, so I'm going to grab that one. Remembrance of Putrescence. We have the Putrescence Cleaver. It's a great axe. Strength, Dexterity, and Arcane. Or the Vortex of Putrescence. Launches a whirl of putrescent jets. And that's a sorcery. I'd rather have the weapon. Saint of the Bud. Pole Blade of the Bud. Causes Scarlet Rot buildup. Or rotten butterflies. Summons countless butterflies to scatter rot. That might be neat as a female character. That's faith-based. Isn't rot based on arcane? Maybe I'm remembering wrong. Huh. Okay, well, I'm going to take the weapon. Lord of Frenzied Flame. We have a great sword of damnation. It doesn't seem to do anything special. It does have the golden crux on it. Leap up and skewer a foe from overhead. If successful, the weapon's barbs unfold to excruciate from within. Else, additional input releases barbs in the area. There is something of the Golden Order in the sight of those fixed upon this crux. Okay. Or Midra's Flame of Frenzy. Summons Lord of Frenzied Flame's head to spew Frenzied Flame. 41 faith requirement. I'm going to grab that one just because madness might be something neat to play around with in the expansion. Remembrance of the Impaler. Spear of the Impaler. That might have been useful in this last one. It's faith-based and with dexterity and strength. High dexterity requirement. Or Mesmer's Orb. Shapes Mesmer's flame into a giant orb that soars at a foe. It's a faith-based incantation. Fire and physical. Man, I don't know. I think I'm going to try Mesmer's Orb. Okay, we have 3 options here. The Great Sword of Radon. Promised Consort. What's that ability? Imbue the 2 great swords with the light of Miquella, then deliver a slashing attack accompanied by columns of light. Yeah, that thing's pretty nasty. Additional input allows for up to 2 follow-up attacks. Okay. Lord and Light. This has light speed slash on it. Assume a luminous form and leap forward to deliver a downward slash at the speed of light. This attack will be followed up by an additional light attack. Charge to increase power of the skill and number of follow-up attacks. Okay. And then Light of Miquella. Annihilates foes with a pillar of light. I like that. Miquella sought to accept all that was and would be, but found one that refused to be embraced. One of the reasons I like that is because if everything is true, then nothing is true. So if you have these, you have people out there that are always like, live your truth or speak your truth, whether they know it or not, they're kind of embracing this idea that things are very subjective. There's no such thing as objective truth. All things are permissible. That kind of a thing. But that leads to absolute catastrophe. There's a right and a wrong answer. 2 + 2 does not equal 4.1 or 3.9. I don't care what Seattle math says. It's 4. It's a scientific and mathematical fact. And so there is right, there is wrong, there is objective truth. You don't want a postmodernist who doesn't believe in objective truth designing the airplane that you're going to go fly in, where they're making the gauge that tells you what your altitude is and what your orientation is, whether you're aiming towards the ground or towards the sun, any way that they want to, because they feel a certain way that day. That doesn't add up at all. So these kinds of ideologies, they always end up clashing with each other. They always do, because they're not built on truth. And the logical ends are that it implodes on itself. It implodes in on itself like a neutron star. No wonder, as one god and one king consort is all the world needs. I didn't quite understand that sentence. It's like it's written weird. Maybe what they mean is all the world needs is this combination of Radon and Miquella. I don't know. I'm probably just missing something super easy there. Pillar of Light. It's an incantation. I think I'd rather go with one of the swords. If I can get them, too. Nope. Okay, so I got the first one. Man. Fun game. Really fun game. Some of the ideals being pushed on this will make you think. I think that's fun also. And, try to ascertain as to whether or not you agree with it and then why. To me, that's also very fun. I enjoy doing stuff like that. But we're going to go ahead and end it right there. This is the final form of my character that I started out with Bloodhound's Fang and a quality build and went through a strength faith phase, and then at the very end went back to arcane and used Mogwin's spear. So that was a good time. I'm really glad I looked that video up. It made that fight 10 billion times easier. So again, I'm Aesop Grimm. Thank you for coming by the channel. I hope you like what you saw. More importantly, I hope all is well in your neck of the woods. And I'll see you in the next... Well, there is no next episode. That's the wrap-up of this story. So you guys take care, and maybe I see you in one of my other chronicles.